From 29, the Eyewitness News Station. Live. 29 Eyewitness News at 5 starts right now.
About 40 high-risk sex offenders in Kern County are now being monitored by GPS. And Eyewitness News has discovered at least a couple have been taken off our streets and sent back to prison because of this technology. State Parole started the GPS program in Southern California. To see how it's now working in Kern County, reporter Carol Ferguson sat down with state authorities and a sex offender. Carol.
Last week, Bakersfield police alerted one neighborhood that a paroled high-risk sex offender had moved into their area after a similar situation about 2 years ago. Eyewitness News started investigating how these parolees are monitored. State prison officials showed me just how the GPS system works. Agent Derek Caraway shows me how a high-risk sex offender can be tracked by parole agents.
They can see where the offender went the prior day, the prior week, or the prior month, or even at that moment.
Satellites get signals from ankle devices like this, which the sex offender must keep on 24/7, including this man in Bakersfield. We'll call him John Smith.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just I disregard it as part of my sentence.
Smith didn't want his voice or face recognized. He did 12 years in prison, was paroled 6 months ago. Caraway demonstrates what parole agents see using this system. The blue and purple squares here are gang members on the GPS system up in Sacramento. They could not show us an actual sex offender case. GPS tracks where they went, for how long, and what time it was. Agents can also see aerial photos for more detail. This was a parking lot where the gang members met, a violation of their parole. The system can set up exclusion zones where a sex offender is not allowed to go.
We have offenders who have went to parks, colleges. They've also been to different elementary schools, places where they should not have been.
Those offenders went back to prison. 2 agents in Kern County each have 20 offenders on GPS. Agent Kelly Mason says one went back to prison.
And he had a regular pattern. On Tuesday nights, he went to a particular residence. The second time I saw that, I went to the residence and discovered that children resided at the residence.
That was a violation of his parole. Agent Steve Struwe says the computer tracking is a valuable tool to prove violations.
There's no debate about where they've been or what time they were there.
One of his offenders went back to prison for a curfew violation. If offenders go into an exclusion zone, agents can get an immediate call and they can send an alert to the offender.
The agent can let the offender know if the GPS device vibrates or if it pings, give me a call immediately.
That's never happened to Smith, but I asked what it's like to have that device on his ankle all the time.
It is. It's a nuisance. But it's just like I said, it's just part of the sentence.
He pulls his sock over it and hopes no one spots it. Bakersfield police warned neighbors when Darren Kawamoto was almost housed in downtown Bakersfield. Another location was found. But these agents say GPS is one more valuable tool to supervise high-risk sex offenders in our communities.
While a person is out here, sex offenders on the streets, we don't want any more victims. We can do that by utilizing all the tools that we have, which includes GPS, then we're doing our job.
Now, the parole agents told me they also work closely with local police and sheriff deputies, and the GPS system is part of that overall cooperation. When the sex offender was paroled last week, Bakersfield police did that public notification, and they told me state parole agents are staying in touch with them on that very individual case.
Amazing stuff, Carol. Now, is that case one of the sex offenders who is on the GPS
Exactly,
system?
he is. And here's how they work that. Well, the parole agents told me he is in the category, the type that they would consider to put on the GPS system as they start to ramp it up. Eventually, they hope to have everybody on it in that category, but they're starting out. And they put the most serious of the sex offenders in any given community on the GPS system, so that's another tool, like we saw, to monitor where they are and where they're not supposed to be.
Seems to be working.
Right.
Carol, thank you very much.
Here now is more information on the California Department of Corrections GPS program. State Parole began the GPS program in June of 2005, starting off in Southern California. Right now, more than 500 high-risk sex offenders are on the system. Parole agents say already 105 offenders throughout the state have been returned to prison when parole violations were found through GPS monitoring.